Good morning. Welcome to the Faculty of Agriculture and Food Sciences at the American University of Beirut. This is really a great pleasure to welcome you all here. I just received a notice from the president. He had an emergency that he had to attend to, and he sends his apologies. President Khoury has been extremely supportive to our activities, and he immediately, once he knew of this lunch, he put it in his calendar, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here. Welcome to you all. I'd like to acknowledge a few of our guests who've been here with us. Dean Wahid. We had Dean Wahid is the Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences. Among the attendees also, we have some of the representatives from other faculties at AUB, and also special welcome to all of those who traveled from the IFPRI office. In specific, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Risinger, who's also will be on the, Clemens will be also on the panel, among Dr. Khoury, who also is one of the co-authors. So really a special thanks to Nadeem for facilitating this opportunity for us to launch this significant report here. Everybody's attendance is extremely important to us, and we really look forward to a wealth of information this morning. The Global Food Policy Report at IFPRI is a flagship report and is a leading international publication highlighting key dynamics affecting the food security and nutrition. This year's report highlights the important competing trends and emerging trends and affecting movement of goods and services, investment in people, technologies, and ideas, and thereby food and nutrition security. So it's very important, very timely, and look forward to learning about the report. And also we have a panel of experts to debate and discuss that report. I'd like to name them by name. Dr. Risinger from IFPRI, Dr. Khoury, who's known to many of us. He spent many years here at ESQA before heading back to the World Bank, and he's still actually a consultant for IFPRI and the World Bank. And we've got several of the keynote speakers and commentators to this. I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Majida Mshaik, Mr. Nasib Ghurbel, and Mr. Marwan Mikhail, and Dr. Lamia Jum'a, who will be also panelists debating and discussing the report and its impact on the region. FAFS and IFPRI has an extensive history working together. I'd like to highlight a few of those, including the Arab Spatial and Temporal and Spatial Lebanon, as well as many other projects. We have hosted together several workshops in the past. The last recent one was a few months ago with the Yemeni delegation that we hope to build on and expand that. I'll take this opportunity also to highlight some of the research, the relevant research that's been conducted here at FAFS related to the theme of the report. We'll start with studying the effect of the Syrian conflict on water use in agriculture in Lebanon and the region. Dr. Jafar and Dr. Kuritz are working on this. Dr. Hwalla and Dr. Naja has been working on sustainable diets, in specific the Mediterranean diets related to this trend of the future of food security. Dr. Zreich working on the intersection of agriculture, conflict, and crises. Looking at also Dr. Jum'a has been working on food nutrition, scarcity, and then vulnerability of some of the population groups, especially looking into women and children and refugees. Dr. Shari Hmedi working on resilience of the animal-based agriculture and impact on adoption of strategies for farmers looking into climate change resilience. Dr. Guillermo Martinello working on implication of smallholders, integration of global agriculture value chain, and specifically focus on Africa. And I comment here that we've got at least 3 of our faculty have special expertise in Africa. So this is an area of importance to FAFS. Dr. Abiad working on the food waste and recycling and animal feed. Last but not least, the work that's done by Rachel Bahn. I'd like to acknowledge here Rachel and Sibel, who had done a lot of work getting this workshop together, and her work on transformation of the food retail system. And of course, the work of the Water, Energy, Food, Health Nexus initiative that will very much will be in line with this work, and in particular, the implication on virtual water and the food portfolio of the future of this region. What would be the implication of the trade and the local production? And I would close with the work that Dr. Salma Tarhouk's work on biodiversity, and specifically agricultural biodiversity, relevant to this work. So as you could see, the partnership with IFPRI and AUB and FAFS is rich, and the work that's been conducted at FAFS would really build on a lot of the you see here today, and we're really looking forward for additional ties. So it's an honor for me to welcome you today to the launch of this report, which is the report of the 2018 IFPRI 2018 Global Food Policy Report, labeled as Food Security and the Global, from Global to the MENA. So please, I'd like to ask Rachel to give us a bit more introduction to the panelists. And thank you so much for being here and for helping us launch that report along with our colleagues at IFPRI. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to introduce this morning our distinguished speakers and panelists. I'm going to introduce all of the speakers and panelists now so that we can proceed without interruption, and we'll then hear from everyone in turn. Our first speaker, Clemens Risinger, is Senior Research Fellow and IFPRI's Country Program Leader in Egypt. Since 2010, Clemens has led IFPRI's MENA team, which provides knowledge, strengthens capacity, and aims at influencing policy and investment decisions for an Arab world free of poverty and malnutrition. The team's academic papers, reports, and policy briefs are widely read and quoted by the media, including Reuters and The Economist. Clemens' research covers a broad range of issues related to the roles of agriculture and mineral resources for economic development, building resilience to crises and climate change, and designing policies for improving food and nutrition security. He holds a PhD in agricultural economics from the University of Hohenheim. Our second speaker, Nadim Khouri, is an independent researcher focused on food security, presently advising the World Bank and IFPRI on evidence-based policies and investments in agriculture and global food security, the adaptation of African agriculture to climate change, and food security in MENA. Previously, Dr. Khouri had a 20-year career at the World Bank, holding operational and leadership positions. Before that, subsequent to that, he served as regional director for the Europe, Near East, and North Africa divisions of the International Fund for Agricultural Development based in Rome. And between 2011 and 2015, he served here as Deputy Executive Secretary for the Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia, or ESQA. He holds a PhD from University of Massachusetts, degrees from the University of London, and of course, most importantly perhaps, from American University, from this faculty. Our first panelist, Majd Masheikh, is head of the program department at the Lebanese Ministry of Agriculture and an advisor to the minister, as well as governor to the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. On behalf of the ministry, she acts as focal point for the Food Security Sector Working Group and as a Food Security Steering Committee member supporting the Lebanese Crisis Response Plan. As a member of the Projects Committee at the ministry, she coordinates, studies, and prepares local and international projects and programs, including a range of EU-funded projects. She holds a PhD in Earth and Environmental Sciences. Next, we have joining us Dr. Nassib Khobril, Chief Economist and Head of the Economic Research and Analysis Department at Byblos Bank SAL, one of Lebanon's largest banking and financial services groups. Previously, he was Head of Research at Group Saradar and Head of Research at investment banking firm Lebanon Invest. He's a frequent guest speaker on local, regional, and international conferences and has appeared on many media outlets. He's also a member of the World Economic Association, the Research and Studies Committee at the Association of Banks in Lebanon, and the Advisory Board of the Lebanese American University School of Business, as well as a board member of the Levant Institute for Strategic Affairs. Marwan Michal has worked since 2008 as head of research and investment banking at Blom Invest Bank, where he has been involved in fixed income deals and managed several Eurobonds issues for the government of Lebanon. He has extensive experience in market and sectoral studies of Lebanon and the MENA region, in addition to macroeconomic research and analysis. It's good stuff if you haven't taken a look at it. Mr. Mikhail previously worked as advisor to the Ministry of Economy and Trade of Lebanon and head of the economic division at the ministry, focusing on strategic issues and economic policy. and before that at the International Monetary Fund, where he advised several MENA governments on macroeconomic issues, including privatization of government-owned companies, monetary and fiscal policies, and economic sector development. He holds a master's degree in economics from the Université Saint-Joseph, where he's also a lecturer. And finally, last but not least, we have Dr. Luigi Oma, an assistant professor at the Department of Nutrition and Food Sciences here at AUB. She currently serves as co-director of the Refugee Health Program as part of the Global Health Institute and is a member of our Food Security Program and the AUB for Refugees initiative. Her current research interests include the assessment of food and nutrition security of vulnerable population groups, including women and children from refugee and impoverished host communities, exploring the dietary intake and nutritional status of youth and young adults, and evaluating the effectiveness of community-based nutrition interventions to help alleviate the risk of food insecurity, obesity, and malnutrition. So we're very pleased to have such a diverse range of well-qualified people to be here with us today to speak about this report, their own work, and to comment on it. Thanks to all of you for joining us here today.